welcome to Just Us Thinking. I am your host, Michael.
And I am your co-host, Rebecca.
Hi, everybody. I'm Mikey.
All right, we're all here again.
We are, yes.
We're doing the Pew Pew Show.
The Pew Pew Show. We just attended over in Council Bluffs.
All right, where was it at? That fair?
Yeah, West Fair Amphitheater.
All right, and then before we really get into the show, I wanted to go over our not-so-random topic today.
Yeah, it's not too random, is it?
No, so we're going to talk about United States Supreme Court finally, after 14 years, made a ruling on the Second Amendment.
What kind of ruling did they make?
So, originally, it was always said that while you're in your home, you have the right to defend yourself and you could keep a gun.
Okay.
That was kind of the staple for quite a while. And now they just came up with and said, you know what, you kind of have that right outside of your home too. Which
makes sense.
It does.
Yeah.
So it really affects, New York, California, and it's a total like 5 or 6 states.
Oh, okay.
They were very stringent on their concealed carry, and you had to, I don't know, it was kind of crazy. I mean, you had to know the sheriff or know somebody, and you pay someone a obscene amount of money to, it was just...
The state had to get their money some way, right?
Well, yeah, and it wasn't even just getting their money. It's like, it was a good old boy system.
Okay.
Buddy kind of, if I know the chief of police, I can get a concealed carry permit because he's going to push it through. Mm. But if, I needed one and I didn't know the chief of police, well, I'm screwed.
Oh, that kind of stinks.
Yeah, so it kind of just balances out, and it really, like here in Nebraska, it doesn't really affect us.
Yeah.
Because we had, concealed carry and, license and stuff here too. And a lot of states are going constitutional carry. So
they are, yeah. That's going to be interesting too to see how people react to that.
You got to understand that most people that carry a gun or are the good, they always say good guy with gun. I would say a person with a gun mm-hmm. that has no ill intent, they're not going to do anything stupid with that.
They're not.
They're just going to protect themselves.
Yeah.
And most people that I know carry are a little hesitant to even get into like arguments with other people because it can escalate and they don't want it to ever get to that position.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of the same way. I could be a little mouthy if I'm not carrying a gun. And if I'm carrying a gun, I kind of seem to be a little more reserved because there's a lot on the line if I'm carrying a gun.
Yeah, I've noticed that too, yeah.
I got a Pew Pew on my side. I got to mind my P's and Q's,
Yeah.
Because if someone calls the police or if I do something stupid and the police are involved or anything like that, and I have one on my hip, well, guess what?
You're going to be a little bit more careful.
Yeah, I'm going to have to be more careful.
Yeah.
So, all right, so the Pew Pew Show. Did you like the Pew Pew Show?
I did like it. It was... I've gone to a few. That's like the second or third, or like third or fourth that we've gone to.
Okay.
Second time there, and it was a little scaled back from the first time because I think like the first time we went, they had 3 buildings, and this time they only had 2.
2 buildings was enough.
Yeah.
I'll be honest with you.
So yeah, it was pretty interesting. So
all right. So, and I remember when we walked in the gate, you get the hand stamp.
Yeah.
You go through, and we bought something right at the gate.
You did, right out the bat.
Yeah, it's something I've been looking for a while.
Yeah, those were pretty interesting. I've never seen them before, like the little solar panel things that you can charge.
Yeah. And
then you can charge like your whatever with them.
Yeah, so they're not, the ones I got there don't have the battery on there. And I keep going back and forth. I like the ones with the battery, and I like the ones without the battery. Because I could just put that in my window of the car, or if you're camping, you could put that out and charge the cell phone or charge something that has a battery.
Yeah.
And then you don't have to worry about that battery getting exposed or leaking or anything like that. So it's just really a solar panel that has a plug that you can plug something into.
Oh, okay.
I like that. Now, I also have since then bought one with a battery backup.
You did.
Almost immediately after I bought it.
Yeah.
So, and I like that. So I wanted to have variety.
Okay.
But we got that from the prepgoget.com guy.
We did, yeah. He was a pretty interesting character, too.
Yeah, he was. Well, that's the thing when you go to a Pew Pew show like this, you run into all kinds of people.
Oh, yeah.
You're not people always say, "Oh, there's a one type of person that goes to these Pew Pew shows."
Yeah.
Nope.
There's not.
Nope. There's people think, well, it's not a diverse crowd. It really is.
It is, yeah.
I mean, how many women did you see there?
I saw quite a few women.
A lot of guys.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, it doesn't matter if you're white, black, Asian, whatever descent you're from. You can see that everybody's there.
Yeah.
And everybody has this, the camaraderie. Is that the right word for that?
I think so, yeah.
I had a hard time saying that.
I know. I think we know what you're trying to say, or what you mean.
There's a lot of. I mean, everybody's really nice.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't run into really anybody that was really that mean or aggressive or anything. So it was.
Yeah, there's never. I've never in my history of going to Pew Pew shows have never ran into someone aggressive.
Yeah.
Now I've ran into people where if I've tried to make a deal, I might, they rub me wrong or I rub them wrong or something. That's going to happen no matter what you're at. And that kind of happened here. There was one guy that kind of rubbed me wrong.
It did, yeah.
So I went and I ended up getting something from one of his competitor. Yeah. So, but no, the prep and go is his website or his email is this is his website, isn't it?
It's his website.
Prepgoget.com.
Yep.
I like the guy. The guy seemed pretty good.
Yeah, he was good. Like I said, he was an interesting character for sure.
I love interesting characters. They're not just, roll them out and carbon copy.
Yeah.
He had a personality. Fun to talk to. Oh, yeah.
He was pretty fun to talk to, too. So it was kind of between seeing you and interact with, a lot of the vendors. It was. Yeah.
Well, and Chad went with us.
Right.
So and we were all interacting. So it's kind of cool, isn't it? So, yeah, I kind of like that guy. So now here's the thing. People think you go to a Pew Pew show and all you're going to find is the Pew Pews.
Nope, that's not exactly true. So
no, there's tons of survival gear.
Oh yeah,
backpacks, vests.
I think we even saw some like medical packs that you could buy. So they had like all different types of things in them. They had like one had like a tooth puller.
Oh yeah,
and I was like, okay.
Some of that stuff comes from a lot of stuff of that is antique stuff.
Yeah,
so they came from like World Wars or other eras that, Wild West, stuff like that. Mm-hmm. Some of that stuff just kind of, fed into it. So, yeah, you're right. First aid kits are crazy. Backpacks,
They have burn kits, like dressings for burns and stuff. They had like a couple tables, I think, like that. So,
yeah, isn't that pretty cool? So, yeah, survival gear is kind of one of the staples there.
Yeah.
You're always going to run into it. I'm really glad I got the solar panels. I like those. They're small.
Cool.
They're compact.
Yeah.
Can you imagine just being out and just say, yeah, I need my I could sit outside in the backyard where if I don't have a plug or I could plug that, sit that on the table, plug in my cell phone, and I don't have to worry about my cell phone going dead.
That is true, yeah.
So I like it. It's pretty versatile. So, All right. And then what else did you like there?
I guess you also got to sample some honey, didn't you?
Oh, love my honey.
You do. And I found one of my favorite things is like freeze-dried Starburst.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, and that's the other thing that you're going to see, and it goes along with the survival stuff as well.
Yeah.
You have a lot of honey. The reason honey is a kind of a survival food is, and I'm not I've been told, I have never actually tested it myself, honey doesn't go bad.
Oh, okay.
It's antibacterial.
I've heard that too.
So it's really good for dressing wounds.
Oh, okay.
So a lot of times you could put that on a wound and it puts it a coat and then you bandage it.
Mm.
And you could, it's supposed to have healing properties there.
That's kind of interesting.
So it tastes really good.
Yeah.
you have a lot of the freeze-dried fruit.
Mhm.
So your Starburst, stuff like that.
Yeah.
You don't see them too much anymore. I'm really, really upset.
No beef jerky.
Yeah, my beef jerky guy. I remember as a kid I used to love to go to Pew Pew shows.
Yeah.
Beef jerky.
Oh, yeah.
You could, and there was these vendors that would have every type of beef jerky you could think of. Alligator,
Mm-hmm.
deer jerky, bison, every kind of jerky you could think of. They were there.
Yeah. I was kind of disappointed there wasn't any there.
They're not there anymore.
Yeah.
The beef jerky guys have left, I want to say over a decade ago.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Well, we went to that other one at the old mall in Council Bluffs, and they had them there.
There was one guy, he had a few of them.
Yeah.
You're more likely to see the beef jerky at the farmer's market than you at the Pew Pew show anymore.
Or craft shows, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, but no, the honey guy was Dundee Bee Honey. And he's out of Red Oak, Iowa, which is just on the other side of Council Bluffs, right?
Yeah, not too far from Omaha, yeah.
Yeah, so that's within driving distance.
Yeah, and I think you can find him on Facebook at Dundee Bee Honey.
Yep, so, and those guys were a hoot too, weren't they?
They were, yeah.
What did they have on their table that was kind of cool? Did they have like bones or something?
They had a bunch of like skull holders and stuff like that.
That was awesome, wasn't it? I love that kind of stuff. You know me, so.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, honey seems to be like the staple now that's going to it. I think the beef jerky guys handed off to the honey guys and said, take over for us. And I'm as mad as I am the beef jerky is going. I'm really happy the honey guys are there because I love honey.
I'd rather have beef jerky. Sorry.
Yeah. Now, if we get them to combine and get honey dipped beef jerky, oh man, what do you mean?
No. No. I'm
going to have to try that.
You can try that.
If it tastes good, I've got a market for some people. No, but the Dundee Bee Honey guys, I really like. And we have their business card, and the guy's wearing a kilt.
Yeah, I noticed that.
you know me and my kilts. I love my kilts.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, looks like they have an alternate sales location in Bellevue.
Oh,
Did you know that?
I did not know.
Yeah, that's 2210 Camp Brewster Road, Bellevue, Nebraska. Huh. Now that I know they're there, I might kind of swing out there, too. We're
That's
always
kind of
going
interesting.
over Bellevue.
I didn't know they had that there.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy. So, but you got your freeze-dried, so you're good there.
Yeah, and I found Starburst. I haven't found Starburst yet, so I was really happy about that.
Well, we find those at the craft fairs, but yeah.
I haven't found Starburst at any craft fairs yet, though.
Oh, they were doing the Skittles at the craft fairs. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's pretty good. So that's maybe you should have gotten a card and you should have reached out to them and seen if you get more.
I should have. Yeah.
All
I know there's a couple people I have on Facebook too that do it, so I was gonna try to hit up a craft show here or there.
Okay.
A couple craft shows here or there.
All right. Well, I'm good with that. So, and now Mikey didn't go with us, did he?
He didn't. No.
That's because he was busy working the firework tent.
Yes, I was.
So,
in the rain,
we were dealing with pew pews, and you were dealing with a different type of pew pew.
Yes.
More bang bang, right?
Bang bang bang.
All right. So yeah, Mikey missed it.
Yeah.
So
I don't think he was too disappointed, but
no. And me and Chad had a blast there.
Yeah, you guys did, trying to find matching pew pews.
We did. We found them.
You did.
So now the other thing that I noticed that was really abundant at a pew pew. See, everybody thinks it's all pew pews, right? No.
Yeah.
The survival gear was crazy. The food, there was a couple pieces with popcorn, and stuff like that. So you go. Generally, they have some of them have hot dogs and stuff like that, nachos.
Yeah, the concession stands.
Yeah, the little concession stands.
Yeah.
So, and people go for the concession stands too. So, but there's also a lot of the training stuff.
Yeah, we found quite a few little interesting training stuff too that I'm surprised you didn't get.
Well, I don't know why I didn't get it. I guess I was really just kind of looking around. I set out to not really buy anything. And then of course I walk in the gate and buy something right off the bat.
Yeah.
And then I told myself, well, I'm not going to really buy anything. And then Chad's like, you want to get matching pew pews? I'm like, I can't say no to that. I mean, really
I think
can't.
you guys found one that you really liked, so yeah.
We did. We actually bought a shotgun.
Okay.
So, so it's not like people think, oh, I guess that's what people think that are kind of different there. It's not just, people don't just go buy guns and then like they're all guns under the radar and all this. That doesn't happen.
Right.
But there's a lot of like training material. There's a lot of the, memorabilia that gets done through all this stuff here.
Yeah, I think there was even like a book author that was there, wasn't there?
There was, and he did, I guess he was the guy that did, like, I guess there was a case here in Omaha.
Yeah.
That was like mobster related.
Yeah.
And he wrote a book. So he was selling his book, doing book signing and doing stuff like that. But there's also like the training gear. So there's a lot of like books on first aid, books on survival. There's the laser targeting system.
Oh yeah,
that's what we tried.
That was really cool.
And it's basically you put a little laser in a real pew pew, and you could practice with it.
Yeah.
And you don't disturb your neighbors, and you're not spending a lot of money on ammo.
Yeah, and it had really cool sound effects too.
It did wait, so can you do the pew pew noise?
Probably not.
No. Mikey, can you do a pew pew noise?
No.
No. Okay.
Yeah.
We need Chad here. Where's this sound effects guy? Oh my goodness. So no, there's a lot of like supplies and training stuff that you get there, and not even really gun related.
Yeah, there was a lot of non-gun related stuff. So
well, now I keep saying we didn't really want to buy too much. We were just going to look. The first thing we bought was the survival stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And the second thing we bought was the tasers.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
You bought the taser pens.
Yeah, a little pain pen.
Yeah, so it's basically it looks like a little ink pen.
Right. And
you flip it on and you could shock the crap out of someone if they get too mouthy to you.
Yes, you can.
So, yeah, that was pretty good. And now they had all kinds of other stuff there. There was like tons of knives.
Yeah.
Always tons of knives.
Definitely always. Knives are always a given to at any of those shows.
And some of them are handcrafted knives. So some of them are even made out of, railroad ties. So they're kind of all over the place there. So and some of them are like knives out of railroad ties.
Oh, yeah.
Custom stuff that blacksmiths work on.
Yeah, we saw a lot of custom stuff. So.
Oh yeah, there's always some custom stuff there. So I want to say, what are those things that you like? I know they do a lot of the girls to put on their knuckles, and you could like if someone tries to rob you, or I don't even know what those are called, but those are.
Yeah, I can't remember what those are now too. I was just thinking about that. They look like cats almost. Yeah,
cats and dogs is what they're formed. They're like mini brass knuckles is what they are.
Pretty much, yeah.
Right. So, but tasers and flashlights. Oh my gosh, the flashlights that you go in these places, and some of them are bright.
Oh yeah, there was. You tested quite a few of them out, and there was a lot of them were really bright, especially the severe survival guys one.
Yep, and then the lasers. Remember the lasers? Remember I shined it across the room?
Yep.
You could see it clear as day on the other side. I would see any professor, in a class would want one of those.
Yeah, they would be nice for someone to have.
Yeah,
so.
I had one of those when I was teaching, when I was a trainer.
Oh, okay.
And I'd have a class, and I used one of those all the time.
Yeah.
It was wonderful because you got a big old screen projector, and you could point at what you want them to see. So I love that. That was awesome.
Yeah. What was one of the most unique things that you saw there?
The thing that I could not talk you into letting me buy.
Which one was that?
The flamethrower.
Oh. Yeah, no flamethrower.
They had one that could mount on the bottom of an AR.
Yeah.
They had a picnic rail where you could put it on. I'm sure if you got some of the handguns have a picnic rail. It might even fit on one of those. and they had a handheld one. I really want one. I can't justify buying one because they're,
Like, when are you going to really use it?
we have bad winters here, and that would make snow removal so much better. That's my justification. I know that's not why I'm going to get it.
The ice removal?
The ice removal, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Michael was removing ice, and then with a flamethrower, and that's why his house burned down.
Exactly. I could so see that happening with you.
No,
me.
But did you? I mean, they were awesome looking, weren't they?
They were, yeah.
I think they'd be great to go out and play with every once in a while. Just to go out and play with. I mean, that's just kind of what you do.
Yeah.
And
to see the look on Chad, walked by it at first, and I was like, "You've got to come check this out." And he's like, "What?" And I was like, "Right there." And he walked past. I think he looked past it a couple times, and then just when he saw it and he realized what it was, he looked like a kid in a candy store. It was just a priceless look on his face. It was hilarious.
You got to understand that everybody has their little quirks. I know people that collect shoes. Yeah. I know girls that collect shoes, purses, earrings, jewelry. There's all kinds of stuff that you can collect.
Yeah.
And as long as you're not hurting anybody else, I don't care what you collect.
Exactly.
I think it would be kind of fun to play with. It would be one of those things that you pull out every few years to say, "Hey, look what I got, buddy," and you shoot it off,
or scare the neighbors a little bit too.
Scare your neighbor, yeah. My neighbor, yeah. I'll be the neighbor with a flamethrower. That guy.
Yeah.
Can you imagine that? Call the police. Yeah, my neighbor's in the front yard again. He's with his flamethrower. Oh, Michael's out there again. We'll be right out there.
Yeah.
What do you think, Mikey? You think would you clear snow with one of those?
I mean, I totally would.
See.
Yeah.
It's just a toy. I mean, I could see that has no practical purpose.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I would totally get that. So
okay.
So now here's one of the biggest things with the Pew Pew shows. You can't just go there and get a gun and walk out.
Yeah, it's not that easy.
So yeah. There's people think that you're just going to go to a gun show or you're going to go to Pew Pew Show and you're going to find, some, I guess, unregistered, criminal gun or something like that.
Yeah.
Or you got to understand that everybody that is selling a Pew Pew there is licensed to do so.
And they're doing it legally.
Now, there are a few that you're going to run into that are going to be your mom and pop kind of deals, just your private citizens.
Yeah.
But there's still things that they look for. Like, even if I were to go buy from someone here in Nebraska,
okay.
If I'm going to go buy something for them, or they're going to buy something from me, I'm not selling them to them unless they show me a concealed carry permit or a buy permit. I need to see something that says, yes, you can, because that concealed carry permit means they already went through the background check.
Right.
So it's not like that for a Pew Pew show either. Okay. There are you're not just going to be able to walk in there and find some way of circumventing the system. Yeah. There are a few loopholes, but not too many.
Yeah, it's not just like you go in, hand the cash, and you walk away. There's steps that you have to go through, right? Right.
So, and you were there for the steps, right?
I was,
so
yeah.
What happened for those steps?
So, I think first you filled out the form for the background check, right?
We filled out the IRS, the ATF form.
Okay.
Basically ask you if you're a fugitive for justice. You love that one, don't you?
I do, yeah. like anybody's really going to answer that.
Yes. So you're filling it out. Yes, I'm a fugitive for justice. Yeah. Yes, I've renounced my citizenship. Yes, I'm an alien, illegal alien. That doesn't have a visa, and I shouldn't even be in this country. Yeah. And yes, I have a domestic violence restraining order. If you answer those yes, or if you don't answer those, if you answer those and you have those, you're not walking out of there with one.
Are you automatically rejected, or they still run the background check?
No. You fill that on the form. They don't even have to run the background check.
Oh, okay.
They look at the form. First thing they do is they look at the form and they're like, "You're a fugitive for justice. Bye."
Yeah.
They don't want to lose their license, or they don't want to get in trouble.
Oh, that's true.
I mean, these are just regular guys just trying to earn an honest living, really.
Yeah.
So, no, they don't want to do that. And then, if you answer all those correctly, and if you lie on that form, it's felony.
Okay.
So, don't lie on that form.
Yeah, don't lie.
Then they do the background check.
Okay.
And then that background check can take some time. And here's the thing with the time frame. It really depends on how busy they are, how many line in the queue you are. So you could literally go in there with somebody. If they're right ahead of you, they might take 15 minutes, but you're waiting 45 because 15 people between you guys are going through the check as well.
Oh, okay.
You got to think that it's not just that one store that's doing it. That's a FBI national check. So everybody who's buying and has to call in to do that, they're all calling and they're all going through the same system. It's a funnel right there.
Oh, okay.
So it's almost like when calling a company during their busy time.
Oh,
You're going to be sitting in the queue. You may call the radio station and you're caller number 9, but now there's 100 people between you calling and me calling in a matter of minutes, and I'm on hold.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you can't...
Or you get the busy signal.
Right. So you can't really, the time frame really doesn't matter that much.
Okay.
So just kind of get an idea for there.
So, and this might go off the topic a little bit, so sorry. But, so, say if somebody does fill the form out to where they do go and run the background check.
Okay.
So what if something comes back on the background check that's questionable? Do they call the authorities, or are they just saying, we won't sell to you? How does that normally work?
Generally, they'll say, sorry, you were denied the background check.
Okay.
Typically, what happens is they're not going to hold you there. They're not going to, if you turn out to be a fugitive for justice and you lied on the form, and the background check said, yep, he's wanted for, murdering his wife and kids, the call, they know where you're at.
Okay.
So whoever that person is on the other line, they're going to say, well, typically they're not going to call and say deny it. What they're going to do is, if you're calling in the FBI,
okay,
you killed your wife and kids, and you're at a Pew Pew show, and chances are the police will show up, lights and sirens, if you're wanted.
Okay.
So that person that runs it goes, oh, and he's here. Yeah, local police, Council Bluffs Police Department. Yeah, this is the FBI. There's a guy at the gun show. He's over at the Pew Pew. We're going to call and find out exactly where this booth is. He's a felon. He's wanted. He's a big bad guy. And they're going to go pick you up.
Okay.
That's what's going to probably happen if that happens. Very rarely does it happen because people know.
I mean, if they're smart, they're not going to go try to do that.
Criminals are not very smart, but they're not that stupid.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if I knew there was something in my background, I'm a murderer and I just got out of prison. If I go in there and I go try to buy a Pew Pew, and they're like, yep, we got to run your check and everything, I'm going to come up with a reason. Oh, you know what? I changed my mind. I don't want to buy it. Why am I going to draw attention to myself?
Right.
I mean, I don't want to go back to... at that point, I'm probably not going to want to go back to prison, right?
Probably not.
Right. So generally, that doesn't happen.
Okay.
Because most people aren't going to,
And I kind of figured it probably doesn't happen, but
I'm not going to say it never happens, because I'm sure it has happened in history.
So I'm like... Yeah, I'm sure it doesn't happen like once a week or something like that, maybe, but I was just kind of curious how they would do that.
I would be surprised if it happened once a year.
Yeah.
Once a year, maybe, I could see something like that, but most people are going to find it, if they're a criminal and they have that, they're going to have a buddy of theirs who doesn't have a record, buy a gun, and then turn around and sell it. That's the loophole that these people are talking about.
Okay. Yeah.
So, and that's where they think it's at, the Pew Pew shows. It really isn't. It just really isn't there. So.
Yeah, because a lot of, your responsible people aren't going to take that chance.
Right.
Because I know I wouldn't.
No, most people aren't. Most people aren't going to take that chance.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the buying process at a Pew Pew show is really not that different than any other place.
Yeah, like Cabela's or any of those places, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Now, like I said, the only difference is you'll have a few mom and pop people that are like maybe selling a collection or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And those aren't really even what people are nervous about, being sold at these. They think a lot of people that are not educated or don't know about this, they think that you're getting all these AR, what do they call them? Weapons of mass destruction or assault rifles, and they put these like fancy names on them, which is not really the case. Most of the mom and pops are going to be selling like an old shotgun or
like a
hunting rifle.
Yeah, that's been passed down from generation to generation, right?
Right.
Okay. Yeah.
So, but that gets us into the different, the other topics that we're going to talk about, which is the different types of pew pews.
Right. I was just going to ask you about what different types that we saw, because I can't look at one and see what it is, but you and Chad could.
Right. So there's a whole bunch of different types of pew pews.
Okay.
So the ones that a lot of people like, the AR platform, AR, AK, those get the most attention.
Now, are those the semi-automatic ones?
Yep, those are
Okay.
semi-autos.
Okay.
Now, people think, well, these are weapons of war. That's what they say. These should only be for the military and that kind of stuff.
Okay.
Which is actually not the case. So the military uses rifles that are very similar looking, but the internal components are quite a bit different. They normally have single fire and they have a burst fire. You pull the trigger and it will fire 3 rounds.
Okay.
That's burst action is not semi-automatic. The only thing with a semi-automatic is means you pull the trigger once, the gun fires once.
Okay.
Pull the trigger again, it fires again.
Okay.
So every time you pull it, all you have to do to fire that or shoot that is pull a trigger.
Okay.
And you can do it until you run out of ammo. That's a semi-automatic.
Okay.
So people don't understand what a semi-automatic is. So that's most of your handguns are going to be semi-automatic. Your revolvers are semi-automatic. Did you know that?
I didn't know.
Yeah, so again, the principle is you pull the trigger once, it auto-loads the next round, you pull the trigger, it shoots. Pull the trigger, it shoots.
Okay.
A revolver has a cylinder that when you pull the trigger, it shoots, turns the cylinder, and it lines up your next bullet. You shoot, turns the cylinder, fires the next bullet. An AR does the same thing.
Okay.
It's not a M16 or a fully automatic weapon. Fully automatic weapons are illegal unless you have a special permit or a special, or you have to jump through hoops to even think about getting that. The normal everyday person will not have one of those.
Okay. That's good to know.
Now, semi-automatics are pretty common in pretty much. For example, if they decide they want to ban semi-automatics, you're banning probably about 90 to 95% of firearms on the market.
That's a big number there.
It's
Wow.
huge because almost all modern day weapons are semi-automatic.
Okay.
So that gets us into the bolt action.
Okay.
So a bolt action are generally rifles.
Okay.
So that means you pull the trigger
Mm-hmm.
and then it'll fire. You have to operate a bolt on it. You eject the round by pulling the bolt back.
Okay.
You slide the bolt back in. Sometimes it will auto-load. You'll load it there. Sometimes you have to pull it back and you have to put the bullet in there and then close the bolt. You lock the bolt, you can fire again. It's not a semi-automatic because it requires another action for you to do.
Okay.
Pulling the trigger doesn't just automatically make it ready to fire again.
Okay.
You have to manipulate a bolt to do it.
And that's like the little handle on the side, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Most of your hunting rifles will have that.
Oh, okay.
A lot of the older rifles will have some of that too.
Okay.
Then you have the lever action. That's actually one of my favorites. They're also called the cowboy gun.
Okay. And those are with the handles like you pull down, right?
Correct. That's Eleanor.
Okay.
So I was looking for Eleanor for quite a while. I have her. She is a lever action 357-38.
Okay.
Again, you pull the trigger. You have to operate the lever to eject the round and then load the round. Then you can pull the trigger. Not a semi-automatic. It's lever action.
Okay.
And then you have the, what's next on my list? Single action.
Okay.
So single action means you fire the gun. Most of your single actions are going to be your revolvers. So I want to say your peacekeepers or your peacemakers.
Okay.
Think of the gun that Wild Bill Hickok carried. Wild Bill Cody carried one, I think, at one time too.
Interesting.
Wyatt Earp.
Okay.
Basically, you pull the trigger and you have to cock the hammer back, and then you can pull the trigger again.
And those are the single action ones?
Those are called single action.
Okay.
You could get the new ones that are like the 22 Wrangler, or a few of they look like revolvers, but they don't turn the cylinder when you pull the trigger.
Oh, okay.
So they're a little bit different.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what you're looking for as far as kind of modern. And then you could go completely a different route and black powder.
And these are kind of your like favorites that you kind of like. You collect like the replicas, right?
I like the replica.
Okay.
The Colt Walker, the 1851 Colt Navy. There's a bunch of black. We call them cap and ball. So the ones I carry, I collect. I can't carry them. I'd never carry a black powder.
Yeah.
The collectibles that I do are the cap and ball.
Okay.
Which means you have to load the ball, load the powder, load the ball, and then you put a cap on the back, and then the cap will, when the hammer hits the cap, it ignites it, and it fires.
Okay.
In black powder, you have breech loading rifles where you have to use this stick and shove it down there,
Okay.
and then you have to, some of them have primers, flintlock. So they have flintlock, the old, I want to say, Davy Crockett era.
Oh.
They have this little thing that they pull back, and they have to have like gunpowder on the outside of it, and then it's a flintlock. So it basically strikes and makes a flame, hits the pan, lights the gunpowder,
Mm-hmm.
goes in there, and then will ignite.
Oh, okay.
Which, if anything gets wet, those are actually one of the kind of more of the dangerous ones.
Yeah.
So those are the kind. So you have a bunch of black powder that had different ways of doing that. So black powder is kind of old, and but some people still like to shoot it. Some people, it's fun to shoot.
Mm-hmm.
But man, you have to know what you're doing with black powder.
Yeah.
Do not play with black powder if you don't know what you're doing.
Okay.
So
that would be me.
yeah. So if you were ever to shoot any of our black powder, I will have to load it. There's like scales and stuff that you have to do. So it's really a precision kind of deal to go there.
Okay.
It's kind of crazy. So
interesting.
yeah. So but most of the pew pews that people think that are scary, they just don't exist.
Okay.
So
yeah,
that's kind of what we deal with there, right?
Yeah, that was a pretty good rundown there.
Yeah. So now there was one other guy that we ran into at the show.
Mm-hmm.
I believe his name was Mark Folks.
Okay. Yeah.
He's a United States Marine Corps veteran.
We always like to support our veterans.
Love the people who support our country. I love the people who fought for this country.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm always giving them a shout out.
Yeah. And I noticed they actually had a booth there. Like they had T-shirts and different memorabilia, to support the veterans. So that was nice too that they have those at these shows.
Right. And they do that a lot, which is nice. But this guy was a gunsmith.
Oh, okay.
I believe do we have his address or?
Just his email address. So it's leatherneck.gun. Let me try that again. leatherneck.gun.doctor@gmail.com.
So he's a gun doctor.
Right.
He basically is a gunsmith.
Correct.
Very nice guy.
He was very nice. I mean, we talked to him for quite a
Very
bit,
chill,
so,
very honest, because we were asking a couple of questions from him, and I think Chad was looking for something, or he was asking some questions. He's like, you might be better off instead of just having me do it. That's a lot of work. Just buy it. So I like the honesty that he had there. He struck me as a very upstanding, honest, a real guy. Really nice to talk to. He's a veteran. He fought for our country. So I'm always going to give a guy like that a shout out. So, and he's out there in Council Bluffs too. So,
yep. So
we got his card. So, definitely if I have any, especially with black powder, I'm sure, that stuff actually needs, some of the most, help sometimes.
Oh, okay.
So if I find like an old piece that needs, screws or something like that, that might be my guy,
Oh, okay.
So hope he does that. But yeah. Support your troops, support your veterans.
Exactly.
So,
yep.
But no, I think overall, what do you think? What would you rate it?
Like a 10 out of 10 or a scale 1 to 10?
1 to 10.
I would have to say probably an 8.
Okay.
Yeah.
Why an 8?
It wasn't too crowded, but it was like a little crowded, like the aisles were narrow. And so that was a little annoying at sometimes because you have, 3 people trying to go 2
Different
ways.
Yeah.
So, it didn't rain or anything. Yeah, you get cozy. So, it was pretty fun just to kind of look around and see all the different non-gun stuff too. So, because we saw, I saw like the one lady with the protection stuff. She had some like kitchen stuff. I saw another lady with gold coins, silver coins. So, it was just a wide variety of stuff. So,
I do. You don't have to be a Pew Pew guy to go to see these. There's a lot of stuff that you could go see and it's just interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess what I would tell people is, if you've never been, go once. Yeah. No one's gonna, you're not gonna go into a Pew Pew show, and even if you don't like Pew Pews or anything like that, no one's gonna force you to buy one. It's not. They're not in there saying you can't leave without buying. It's not like that. And they're really, like I said, I walked by a lot of people, and you're right, it was close. I'm like, and a couple times it was crowded. I'm like, can I squeeze by you?
Yeah.
And I was squeezing by this lady, and she's like, excuse me, kind of crowded. I'm like, nope, big deal. Yeah. And you just have to be, you're got to be respectful.
Yeah,
you
and
say,
it was
excuse
hot
me,
and outside it was muggy, so it kind of didn't help either. So.
Oh yeah, and the weather wasn't that great because there was a lot of it's fairground, so there's going to be a lot of dirt and water don't mix very well. It causes mud, and you got to walk through mud. That sucks.
Yeah, it does.
All right, well, that's an interesting adventure, correct?
It was, yeah. Especially to having Chad there too was fun to walk around with him and get his perspective on everything too. So,
all right, well, I think that's going to be our show, isn't it?
It is.
All right. I think we're on to the next, right?
All right. Bye, everybody.